Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin and my guest today is Dare Odufookon, Assistant Editor at the Nation newspaper. As always, Dare, thanks a million for coming on. What brings, maybe we're looking at the reportorial aspect of this particular story, another abduction, the latest apparently in the series in Kaduna. This happened close to, Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital. I understand it's a community called Milgoma. And, this happened on Monday night. Unfortunately, a woman and 3 of her children were abducted, and that's apart from a military officer being in there. But curiously, all reports are being careful and say that this has not been confirmed by the police. Well, what's the import of that?
It appears that these days, both the police authorities as well as the military authorities are cautious when it comes to confirming some of those developments. I would think it is because details are always very sketchy usually. You see, nobody has come out to claim responsibility this time, unlike in the past when one group or the other will have said we did it. So these days you find, and we just saying abductors, bandits, terrorists, these are blanket names. And the police, most times when they issue releases, we reporters are bound to ask them questions.
Exactly.
To which they may not have immediate answers. So they also wait. As we gather information, they also do their own investigation. It is when mostly you get to know what happened when, luckily, 1 or 2 of the abductors are apprehended or the victims are rescued.
In this case, they say one of the abductors, one of the gang that put up a fierce fight with the authorities, well, we understand, was picked up, he was discovered after when the dust settled. But,
So, obviously, when such a person starts singing, the police will have something to say.
But this one is dead, according to reports. So we're still back to square one.
A military man also gone down and all that.
Yes, and a military man.
I think because details are sketchy, we may have to wait a bit longer to hear the police angle.
Indeed, the particulars of the story, because one has to be careful about that. One wants to be as accurate as one can be. But what appears not to be in any doubt is that the responding authorities, I'm not sure now if it was the army or the police, that they were engaged in a fierce firefight. That immediately begins to suggest to people who might not have professional training, who the usual suspect is likely to be. Because I don't know that, one doesn't know, but that much was said that they were engaged, the police were engaged in a fierce firefight. So really, against the claim that we are getting a grip on criminality, people don't want to call it terrorism, people don't want to call it banditry, people don't want to call it whatever, but it's a threat to law and order, and here we are. Is there anything, what do you think, is there anything more that can be done in the light of the way we are going to handle these matters? You won't have the kind of information, because it's a lot more difficult than you would think to come up with the kind of fluid statement that people expect. What is there? To speak one of our local languages would be what the public might be thinking. Say, well, look, what is it? What is there in it? Kilo and be. Tell us exactly what happened. But that's not the way it works with professionals.
Yeah, that's not the way it works.
Especially as they weren't there.
We already established that except they have information, they won't be able to tell us kilo and be. Unfortunately, I think it is our way beyond the military or security handling of this issue. The way we talk about it, the way we want to paint it, the safety with which we cautiously discuss, name, and address these issues appears to be contributing to the problem. How do I mean? You also confirm the fact that we don't want to call it terrorism. But this is terrorism. And the earlier, I've said this severally, the earlier we agree and address this as what it is, fierce gun battle with armed officials of government.
Those ones are not a bunch
and you
of
tell
amateurs.
me they are bandits.
Well, exactly.
You see, we are handling this issue as banditry. That is why we've not been able to nip it in the appropriate place.
Yeah, but
if we handle it as terrorism,
yes,
we'll get more serious with it. One, we'll put in more effort. And then the men we are sending to the front will have the proper psychological approach. We are going to meet diehard criminals equally trained, if not better trained. Because recently there are reports, these are still reports anyway, about the death of the leader of the Boko Haram, ISWAP wing. And in that report, a profile of the fellow showed that he was trained in Syria, he was trained in this, in that, by foreign experts. So what do I mean? That our soldiers, as well as our policemen, should know that they are going to confront people internationally trained to kill, to fight. So when they know and agree and accept that this is the situation, they go there more prepared. We, or the government now, approach the issue more knowledgeable about it. We can, my Yoruba people say, we cannot be treating leprosy the same way we will treat
ringworm.
Ringworm. So if you address leprosy the way you address ringworms, it will be of no effect. You know, that is what I see here.
This really gives rise to the other sort of natural question. You don't need to be a genius to ask. So what then is the issue? Because I have heard that our army, our armed forces are not really lacking in any material particular. Yes. The issue is that they are disciplined forces and therefore only move under orders. Now, I've heard this said before, that it's just that nobody can give the orders apart from the commander-in-chief, you know. So the people who know enough about this say that if the order were given for the armed forces, whoever, to take out that problem, there are those who are saying that it won't last 3 weeks.
I will explain.
Some say it won't last 3 weeks.
You just said the truth. But what is the problem? The problem is that order. The Nigerian Army have officers who are very disciplined, who understands the international ethics of warfare and security operations. You cannot, we all hear of courts of war crime and this and that. If you attack or approach banditry as if you are approaching a war, at the end of hostilities, you may be charged for war crimes. Then, who gave you such orders? You will find none. And then you will be liable. That is what we have. But if we all agree this is terrorism, we need an all-out war to quell it. The soldiers will fight like people at war.
Yeah, but
now they are operating like people who are on control operations. Go and quell that riot. When you are sent to quell riots, you don't go ahead as if you have been sent to go and fight a war. That is the situation we have on
So what therefore is the problem? Because let me come back and ask some of these questions. Because Lupe has come on, our man, TVC News correspondent in Kaduna, Lupe Asum. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good morning, sir.
So what can you tell us about reports that Milgoma community, the Milgoma community close to Abu Teaching Hospital, can you add anything to it, please? Is there any further information?
Sorry, please, I didn't get your question.
The situation in Lupe, the situation in Milgoma, if I'm saying it right, Milgoma community. That's what we're talking about. And it's on Monday night, we understand. So what is the situation? The abducted mother and 3 children Apart from the, just give us, you are on the ground. Tell us what you have.
Well, we are yet to hear from security operatives. I called the state public relations officer of the Nigerian police, of the Kaduna Police Command, and he's yet to give me information pertaining to what happened actually. But then, security operatives are on top of the matter. They are doing, they are trying their possible best to ensure that the mother and her children are released unhurt. We learned that these bandits invaded that community and then went straight to the house of that lecturer, where they successfully abducted his wife and 3 of his children.
But the intervention force was able, I was reading, to prevent the lecturer himself being kidnapped. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, the lecturer was actually wasn't abducted. His wife was abducted, and 3 of his children, basically. The security operatives, we must commend them. They responded swiftly to a distress call, and that sadly led to the loss of one of the officials. But then they responded swiftly, and they should be commended.
Lupe, can you give us a bit more detail about attacking the family house of this lecturer? The lecturer himself wasn't abducted, but his wife and children were. How is that?
Well, you see, there has been sustained attack on these bandits. The military are actually carrying out serious operations on these bandits in other states. So we have bandits fleeing some of their locations because of the operations against them. So they just attack random places, abducting people. So it just happened that the lecturer his house was attacked yesterday. But we don't know if they actually acted with intelligence. We are yet to hear from security operatives. What we know is that they just went to his house and in a bid to abduct him, but then he wasn't abducted. Security operatives were able to foil that, but then his wife was taken away with 3 of his children. The security operatives actually opened fire. They engaged the bandits in a gun duel, but then unfortunately, one of them sadly lost his life, and a bandit was also neutralized in the process. So for now, that's what we know.
Did you say that one of the bandits was taken alive?
No. He was neutralized. He was neutralized at the end of the day.
Oh, okay. He was killed in the firefight. Okay.
Yes, he was killed. He was killed in the firefight.
Okay. Now, what when you notice that all of the reports that are in the press are saying that the police have not confirmed the incident. We know what we do. We'll try to confirm with the police, and apparently people have been having a difficulty with that. How do you read that? Because it happened, you are able to give us what you are able to give us. What do you understand the reticence of the authorities to mean in providing details on this?
From the body language of the Kaduna State Police spokesperson, he didn't want to comment because a Nigerian Army official was involved. He said, according to him, the Army were in the right position to make comments about that. So for now, he didn't want to speak concerning the matter because a Nigerian Army official was involved. But so that's what we have for now. But then they didn't tell us what happened exactly. They didn't tell us any other reports they got. Basically, they just said the Nigerian Army are in the best position to respond to that.
So finally, Lupe, what are you hearing now about conditions around that Milgoma community close to Abu Teaching Hospital? Are people cowering in fear, or are people going about their businesses? What can you tell us about, how they are riding this trauma in that community?
Of course, when a community very close to the town is attacked, it sends fear down residents' spine. So residents are actually worried. A lot of them are quite scared now to move about. They say Kaduna is no more safe. And then this thing is coming closer and closer to the town, to the heart of the town. So residents are actually disturbed. But then security operatives have also been doing their best. They have been carrying out operations against these bandits. We just heard in Zamfara that the telecoms were shut down. Several state governments are carrying out very, very they are carrying out serious. They are putting in all their best to ensure that some of the logistic supplies for these bandits are cut short. So that's what's happening now. The governments are working, but then some of the residents are quite scared. They are calling for more efforts. They are calling for intensified efforts. They are calling for deployment of more troops in some of these areas. But then we know a major challenge of the Nigerian Army is the deficit in manpower. So while the residents are basically calling for strengthened security.
Any word out of Government House, Governor El Rufai's office? Any word? Usually they encourage you or tell you, what the situation is. Any word, one way or the other, from them?
Well, for now, they are yet to react to the situation. We are yet to get reactions from them. We're also yet to get from even the Commissioner of Internal Security. They are yet to react to the issue. But then sometimes they don't like to talk because some of their efforts are going down, and if they just hurry to say something, it may mar some of their efforts. So for now, they are yet to respond. We know that some efforts are actually being put into ensuring an end is brought to all these attacks.
All right then. But I think we can take it for granted that the authorities, whichever, they sort it out amongst themselves, whichever one is to go after that woman and her 3 children, I think we can take that for granted, that people are going to move in that way.
Yes, sir. For now, we can say that.
Thank you very much, Yupe.
Hello?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, well, that's as much as we can get out of that situation. As Lupe explained it.
Very sketchy.
Yes, it still is sketchy. He's there, and he's telling us this is how it is. Nothing yet from Government House. Usually, if government is sure, a Government House is sure about what's going on, they would have made some sort of a statement, reassured people in one way or the other. So it's this kind of attack. Let's go back to where we were, and the perennial problem of we thinking we're moving 1 step or 2 steps forward in terms of security, and then something happens, and it does seem as if from that 1 step we've taken 2 steps backward in terms of assurance that this matter is underhand, it is being dealt with. Now let's go back to, we were talking about only if the military, such is the conjecture of some of us, if the military is given the direct order to take out that situation, there will be no problem. The military are trained all over the world. They're trained internally. So that is the feeling that some of us have. Now we've talked about it. What the understanding of why, well, I don't even know if the president has given that order or not. Remember there was a time when he said, you see anybody with an AK-47, he's not in the Nigerian Army uniform, you just shoot him on sight.
If you see. That's if you see the man strolling, and then you shoot him. When you are confronted with men, scores of them, carrying AK-47, you fight them. You can't just shoot them. But how do you fight them? That's what the issue is. Do you fight them as bandits, mere criminals? Mm-hmm. Or do you fight them as terrorists?
You broke
so that you deploy the necessary weapon.
Even sometimes they do. I think I've heard military jargon along the lines of overwhelming force. You bring overwhelming force to bear.
If you go to meet bandits and you come face to face with terrorists, you will be overwhelmed. And then we will blame the soldiers for not living up to expectation. It's not that way.
Okay. Let's hear from Ada in Jos. Good morning, Ada.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Yurian. Good morning to your guest there.
Thank you.
Let me tell you something. That's Ada from
Let me
tell you something. Listen, they are terrorists, just like your guest said there. Until we treat it as such, we will not make a headway. The Zamfara attacks going on. I've said it times without number. That unless it is coordinated and all the adjoining states to Zamfara are also the attack is launched at the same time, that is simultaneously. So they won't give these terrorists that opportunity to escape to other states. That's what is happening now. It's unless that is going to be defeated. If you don't have enough boots on ground, let them get mercenaries. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Let us fight this thing once and for all. You know, the political will should be there. Otherwise, we're going to have problems. Now, we were told that there are some people, their names have been mentioned or whatever, that are financing terrorism. Dubai said it or whatever in UAE. Let them do something about it. Let them try these people so they to act as a deterrent. We're not really serious about look at what is happening. Very soon now we'll become Afghanistan. God forbid. Let's not give over this country. That's my take this morning.
Thank you very much, Ada, for calling in. The situation, no doubt they are weighing it, because I think at the back of all of this whole matter about why are, you know, I don't know, if you were to say the commander-in-chief has not done this, or has not done that, Femi Adesina is sure to speak up, citing examples of where the commander-in-chief has done this and has done that.
The commander-in-chief has responded based on whatever presented to him, the analysis, the explanations of those who should know to the commander-in-chief is actually what the commander-in-chief has been acting upon.
You see, I think the commander-in-chief, if I were to try and crawl into his head, it would appear to be bent on taking no more than the barest minimum in terms of cost to human lives of such an operation, such as we, you know, bloody civilians are talking about.
If, as a nation, we want to fight terrorism, first,
but
we will evacuate. We are faced with terrorism.
The terrorism that we're talking about is said to be perpetrated, carried out by people who are not strangers to us, are Nigerians, maybe even relatives.
Osama bin Laden
was
never a
stranger
now to many of the countries he attacked. He is from Saudi Arabia, he attacked Saudi Arabia. He lived in Lebanon for years, he attacked Lebanon. He married in Iraq, he attacked. Look, the truth of the matter is there are local and international terrorists. They are birds of a feather. Now we have our own nationals terrorizing us.
Yes.
Let's treat them as terrorists. We evacuate those who are not terrorists. We can. We saw how it was done in another country. If you are not part of this, leave that vicinity.
Okay.
You are given a particular timeline.
Let me bring on Mr. George. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for holding on a bit.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to the other editor there.
Daddy Odufowoko.
Yes, Uncle Yori, it was only last week we were told by the defense spokesman that the military is winning the war against banditry. So with all this happening, how do we believe the story? I don't know why the government is dragging its feet on this matter. I do not believe, personally, I do not believe that our military cannot take out these bandits. They have virtually taken over the system all over the country. Imagine the way they operate on Koyori. You abduct school children, sometimes hundreds of them, sometimes 50, and you have the leverage to operate so easily that you ask for money and you are releasing them in bits when you get the money. What does that tell you? Someone or a group that can do that are the ones ruling the country. And I'm so dumbfounded how the president doesn't mean that they are not telling him these stories. Let him give command, and if he wants the command to be obeyed, it will be obeyed. When, Uncle Yori, you know, even in the family system, if you give instructions to your children, they have a way to know whether you actually mean that instruction or not. They read your body language. If what you are saying is different from what you are doing, they won't take what you say seriously. That's what I see happening. The president will take this insecurity matter more seriously.
Okay.
Because it is becoming out of hand.
Yeah.
Are we going to be living in Nigeria now, Afghanistan?
Well, thank you for calling in, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in. Appreciate your call. It really is worrying, and we're just putting forward our theories as to what is going on. Why from our perspective, the soldiers are handling this matter with kid gloves.
Why they are handicapped?
Okay, you even think they are handicapped?
They are handicapped by the policies. They are handicapped by norms. They're handicapped by international ethics. Nigeria as a country, our government, is yet to declare what is happening as terrorism. Okay. So if you have a military commander who approaches it in that manner, he will answer for it.
He will answer for it.
He
might even be accused of war crimes from your analysis.
I've been doing a lot
maybe some military folk or some military scholars will be able to help us on this, because they have an objective. The president has said, you see anybody with an AK-47 rifle, you see a herdsman, just fire.
That is the president's statement. His president is also commander-in-chief. The country, the government, these are entities. Let us make a official pronouncement. We have to fight this. You see, but
the president holds meetings with his security chiefs.
Beyond that.
The security chiefs.
I believe they should be briefing him. They should be telling him. Beyond that, if the president and the security chiefs are being careful, we elected people into the National Assembly. The two arms or chambers of the National Assembly have committees on defense. This is what happened when we politicize everything. When we put square pegs in round holes. Check the committees. If you have retired military officers, retired intelligence personnel, retired police top brasses in the National Assembly, and you can't find them heading these committees. Because one is forced to take a look at a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of reading on issues like this locally and internationally. If the Senate Committee on Defense has been shouting that, look, let us label this thing what it is, or if it is the House Committee on Defense, who are the members of these committees? They are elected by the people. Indeed. Now we have an issue that is getting out of hand. A look at what happened in Afghanistan showed that suddenly Taliban started repenting and they were being integrated into the Afghan military. The Secretary of State, the American Secretary of State on Security or Defense, has been facing the National Assembly of America for 3 days now. I think he's in his second day, 4 days. And one of the things he explained is that not even American top echelons thought the Afghan will fall so
as fast
quickly
as it did.
That they were looking at it will fall. But maybe December.
1 second, because Mr. Yakub in Dokwemu has been waiting for a long while, and I thank you very much for that, sir. Go ahead now, please.
Yeah, good morning, Chifiori, and Mr. Dari. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Good morning, we are hearing you.
Thank you very much. Chifiori, I think I totally agree with Mr. George. Sometimes I wonder, upon all this Apache helicopter, Tucano jet, and all the hard weapons that Nigerian government bought, we cannot be able to defeat these guys. The reason is this. Sometimes when I listen to journalists hangouts, I listen to Babajide Otitoluju. To the extent that he always mentions even the name of the gang leader, even where they locate. This is not a military man, for God's sake. And then he can be able to know where these guys are. Are you telling me the Nigerian military, they don't know where these people are? How long are we going to wait until they make this country ungovernable for every one of us? Because if they are saying that these people are killing people or they are kidnapping people in the north, it already exists in the southwest here.
Yeah, Yakub, but I'm sure you heard. But I'm sure you appreciate, Yakub, that disciplined forces, aka Navy, Air Force, Army, they only act under orders.
Yes.
They only act under clear, specific, direct orders, not by what newspaper headlines are saying. That has been pointed out as well, or our analysts for that matter. So we can go back to...
I totally disagree with them. Totally disagree with them. How could you be telling us after you have been bought, they have been bought weapons to give you to, in order for you to win the war? You are not telling us you are acting on order. What type of order you are acting on? So in this country where somebody that called himself a clearance and defending the bandits,
sorry, sir.
In fact, I will need to mention
you and I are not soldiers. But soldiers can't carry on anyhow on the theater, in the theater.
By this time, say Ugumi club is taking on, and then the club prosecuting the guy. Good man. and God bless you, sir.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Yakub. Mr. Yakub, I don't know if I heard him right, doesn't want to factor in the fact that soldiers are not actually free agents in a theater of war. They are listening to their commanders. You know, their commanders, wherever he is, no matter how remote he is, there's a chain of command. If we as bloody civilians are not saying too much, there's a chain of command. And we hear about, even if it is ordinary film, you hear about active officers, it might be a pilot, it might be whatever, asking for permission to attack.
Yes.
And it must be given. And they will, if it's not given, they can't move. I don't know, you might want to factor all of that in without having gone to any war college. You might want to factor that in. Okay, let me just take a quick break. Stay with us, please. We'll come back, continue with this. Maybe a soldier will call in and then, enlighten us a bit about this whole aspect of it. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back, and we're looking at the frustrating incident, and there are quite a number of these frustrating incidents. When my guest is Dario Dufo, assistant editor of the Nation newspaper, I'm considering the incident that happened on Monday around 9 p.m. according to the news, in a Milgoma community near ABU, Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria, in which a woman and 3 of her children, perhaps she's actually the spouse of a lecturer in there, that his abduction was thwarted. So we're looking at it's frustrating, and I remember that it's as frustrating in a different sort of way as was the NDA being hit by these bandits again. Bandits
in
the same Kaduna. Bandits are able to hit a prized military formation. I don't know if I'm using those words properly, but institution, okay, let's go there. With a prized military institution, they just are, it's almost like they're taking the mickey. And we were making the point before we went on that I just hope that somebody who is knowledgeable enough, maybe in the form of a military consultant or analyst, will enlighten us a bit more about soldiers and the way they carry on a theater of operation. I was theorizing, no more than that soldiers are not free to act anyhow they want. It's not a matter of that kind of a thing. They must seek and obtain permission to do certain things. And if that permission does not come, maybe the result is what we are now talking about, and other programs on TV and radio are talking about. Mazi Okoroafo, good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Editor Dari. You see, this issue of terrorism, let's look at 2 things. One.
No, there's nobody talking about terrorism. The official word is banditry. Banditry.
Down.
Banditry, Mazi. Banditry.
Yeah, the banditry.
Okay.
When this American issue happened, how many days did it take America? I think they just between 4 and 6 days. They got the young man where he was kept. Now, what did they use? This is not drone. Now, when I told people, say, the drone that we have, what does it take? Because waiting for a command from the garrison commander is a long journey. What do I mean by a long journey? When something happens and there is drone on standby, there's no military, circle, or police, anything security, that you will not have a standby squad. Standby squad is to make anything happen on that spot, they take action. They don't need to wait from the commander-in-chief to give it. That is a standby squad. Now, what is the essence of having a standby squad? Let me know. Because the standby squad, when the standby talks takes action, when that incident happens, they will track those people on their way to their destination, those terrorists. Or whether they're bandits, whether they're bandits or armed robber or anything or kidnapping, they are all terrorists. Now, look, we have to be very, very careful. Because what is happening in Afghanistan is generating everywhere.
All right, Mazi, thank you very much for
what happened here in Nigeria. Over the picture. They have been showing that program for the past 3 weeks. Where the lady there at the camp, she said when they got to that place, they saw as if it was a meeting that this plan has been operating on their own. Nobody cares to strike that place. What does it take to strike that place?
we have to face reality. And what did they get? The woman said that they told her to bring 800 million. When the daughter called, she said 800 from where? That was the answer. Before the daughter rose, they killed the daughter. Now, before they killed the daughter, one of those cars that were released, they said that very place is well organized. Where these bandits and those terrorists are settling down. What does it take us to go there? Because this is purely business. Whether we like it or not, terrorism and kidnapping, anything we call it, is business. They carry the money to the bank, they carry the money and collect exchange, they carry the money and come to the market to buy. You have seen what's happening in Zafra. They are now going around the whole Zafra looking for food. Don't they have money to go and buy food? Because they want to accumulate. Maybe they have an industry that builds somewhere in their respective homes. So that when they finish their business, they settle down. So the area, this is not a question of military. We must take prompt action without waiting for commander-in-chief or anybody to take action. When anything happens, if we don't do that, we are just encouraging them to be doing their business. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day, Lagos.
Thank you. Sorry about that. It's just a very frustrating situation to the ordinary citizen who doesn't quite know what's going on and is seeing that a ragtag bunch of guys appear to be messing up, quote unquote, the Nigerian armed forces, in the sense that they seem to be able to strike at will. We're hearing many things. Mazi was speaking about something being a long journey, but I would have thought with the power of technology, the internet, telephony, whatever, it can be pretty seamless. As you remember that the whole action about the capture of bin Laden, Obama was commanding it from inside America there. Yes, they set up a special communications thing, but I think that just that would just be my suggestion, that look in that direction if you want to think that it's not a very cumbersome act, I don't think, to get approval or get permission for action. Commanders on the field will be speaking to their superiors back in the control section or room or whatever, and those ones will be evaluating it, and they will be, because it's a disciplined force, they will be, so I don't know, but we've heard what Mazi has said. It still leaves us a bit confused as to why the military are not able to, exert the maximum capability that most Nigerians think they have. After all, Nigerians are not stinting in their praise of our armed forces, of our armed boys. They're not stinting. They know.
We know that.
When they go outside, they distinguish themselves.
And even locally, when they choose to live up to expectation, and when they are given the necessary support and backing, we always see them excelling in various assignments. But now you have a situation where everybody concerned is waiting for a particular directive,
yes,
as it were.
Yes.
Because we cannot shy away from the fact that none of those people in authority have issued any statement in the direction that we are fighting terrorism. They've been careful about it.
Let me quickly take Yusuf in Abuja. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Yusuf in Abuja. Thank you for calling. Go right ahead now. Mr. Yusuf in Abuja.
Good morning, Okuyori.
Good morning, sir.
This issue has been on, and I've been following you on this issue for too long. It seems that the Nigerian Army, they are not taking issues serious. The Commander-in-Chief has issued a directive several occasions on what must be done to this banditry. For them telling us that they are waiting for an order from Abuja or from the president of the country is a sign that they don't know what they are being called.
Well, they haven't actually said so.
That is fully armed and is coming to attack you.
Yusuf, they haven't actually said so. We are the people, we ordinary civilians, are thinking that if the Nigerian Army is not lacking in capabilities to take out problems like this.
The Commander-in-Chief have issued orders several times that if you see anybody with AK-47 or any ammunition that is not recruited officially into any of the paramilitary or military forces, self-protection should be bring down. He has given an order several times that they should shoot aside. You see somebody that is fully armed, go and confront them. That first order is in line. You have to continue to pursue them. Whatever they are hiding, Nigeria doesn't have a hidden place. There is no hidden place in Nigeria. There is no hidden place. Nigerian Army has gone to several other countries to keep peace. Why is it that we cannot keep peace in our own country? They are using it as a business. They are enjoying it because the more there is a terrorist, the more they fund them. They are using it as a business. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for calling in from Abuja. Of course, there's also the other theory that too many of those people we are calling terrorists, that they refer to as bandits, are actually known to the people in those environments, meaning really that they might be relatives, acquaintances, you know, all sorts of cousins, distant cousins, brothers, sisters, and so there's a strong connection. They're just not seen in a detached way as the enemy. I think that is the problem Nigerian Army probably lacks, a definition of the enemy.
Let me say something on this. There was a report we saw. 2 or 3 men, they were arrested after kidnapping and killing, I think a couple or something. Kaduna axis. And then the profiles came out. These are repentant Boko Haram fighters who came back home, reintegrated into the society, even put on the payroll of their state government for about 5-6 months back. And then there was a kidnap. Some people were arrested and they were fingered. And it was discovered that that was not the only one they did. They've been back in their business ever since they came back. Yet, we have instances like that. And we are refusing to link banditry with the fight in the Northeast. We are refusing to tally the Boko Haram war with the banditry insurgents going on in the Northwest. Then what kind of approach are we going to expect out of this? We are denying the obvious, and we want our soldiers to fight based on assumptions. I won't join anybody to blame them. If they are charged with war crimes, we won't be there to help them answer. If you see anybody bearing AK-47, shoot him. That is a very clear order. That shows you that it is targeted. If there are some people among peaceful herders who chose to bear arms, shoot them. Does that solve the problem of people who stay somewhere where you cannot see them, plan, organize, and implement attacks and run away? Is it the same thing? It is not the same thing. We should have an order saying, go after certain groups. The following people have been declared as terrorists, and get them dead or alive wherever they are. We are yet to have such orders. We stay in this country, and America, France, England declare people as terrorists.
Yes.
Have you seen it anywhere where Nigeria says this group, that group, this is a terrorist group?
Okay.
Find them and bring them to book wherever they are.
Obinna in Enugu, good morning. Obinna in Enugu, good morning, sir. We understand Obinna has gone. You see, it's frustrating as it may be. You and your guys can't do much more than report the situation. And we talk about it, we report it, but then the whole purpose of reporting is hoping that action will be taken for this matter now being known. And we don't know that action has not been taken. It's just probably not the kind of action that we would have expected, but then again, we are not professionals. All we can go back to is that we expect the government, whichever government it is, whether state, whether federal, whether local councils, we just expect them to make the environment safe. Yeah. And if families, houses are being sacked, right now we have 3 people have taken away, and it's just getting to be a bit embarrassing for most people. In fact, all the authorities have now kept quiet about it. So we don't really know what to say about it, apart from the fact that it's a calamity. Yeah, it's a calamity, but if we're not careful, between today and tomorrow, God forbid, there will be another calamity.
We said we are taking care of the situation in Zamfara. An emir was abducted about 48 hours ago.
Can you imagine?
And then we are saying, oh, Zamfara, the situation is under control. And then we are losing an emir to abductors.
It is a very frustrating thing. In fact, maybe we should just leave it here, because we can't really add on top of, nothing, in the sense that we've spoken with our man over there. The authorities in Kaduna have not been able to come up with a statement yet, and that's because they probably want to see the road a lot more clearly before they just, start saying anything. Police.
Mom is the word from them.
Mom is the word. Police refuse to confirm. You can't even get police to say anything. Did I hear? Okay, one last call. Mr. Hassan, in where? Is it Kaduna?
Yes.
Niger. Mr. Hassan in Niger. Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. How are you?
Go on, please. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Go on.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Carry on, please. Well, as I was saying, we can't just be going round and round in circles. We do need a handle on this thing, and the handle can only come from the authorities saying to us, this is what is going on. This is what is going on. So the best we can do is to hope that all the security forces that are appropriate will be on the tail of these robbers to bring back that woman and her 3 children. And this goes on
kids.
Day in, day out. Well, thank you very much, Dari Foko, Assistant Editor at the Nation newspaper, for coming on, and also to you at home for weighing in on the matter, giving us your perspectives on it. It is a very frustrating situation, but we have to believe what the authorities are saying. They say that we are making gains. Might not be as appreciable as you want, but we are definitely making some gains on the whole matter. The guys upstairs want to squeeze in okay from Jos. Okay, let me comply. Okay, in Jos. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, sir.
Go right ahead, quickly, please.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Sir,
please continue. You're on air right now.
I want to say it is because of the NDA people are waiting for another order.
They lost them.
Did we lose that call as well? What a pity. What a pity. Well, again, he's one of the viewers, maybe he's not the only one, who might be querying that whole understanding about what do you mean waiting for permission to attack or to do that?
Order.
Or waiting for orders, Yes, it is what it is, he didn't complete his sentence, so I didn't know what I would have responded with, but that is what we hear. And that was why I was hoping that somebody might want to call in and say something about it, who actually knows stuff about it. But I can just say that in ordinary conversations, I'm not saying that I've been at a war college in somewhere listening to a lecture, but we've been told by senior military officials, some of them retired, that the disciplined forces can do very, very little in the absence of an instruction, an order, a clear, direct, precise order, that if you do that, the people say the Nigerian Army will not be found wanting. Give them a clear, direct, precise order. This is the objective. They said no unit will allow itself to fail in such an objective. So that's where we come about this whole matter of scratching our head and not understanding what is causing the drag. But we're going to have to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for staying with us. I've already thanked Dari. And the other thing to bring up, of course, is the pandemic that is very much with us. COVID-19, you do want to consider, taking up government's offer of a jab, a free jab to, inoculate you against, all the things that they have told us that it does inoculate you against. In the meantime, whatever you decide on the jab, they want you to take it. Whatever you decide on that, in the meantime, you can cover your masks, use your mask, you can wash your hands frequently, you can socially distance properly, and all will be well, all other things being equal. So that's our program today. I'll see you tomorrow with a fresh edition, God willing. I'm Yori Folari. Bye-bye for now.